on, everybody? It is a big day here on the PHLY Phillies podcast. Dust has settled on the trade deadline. We've seen some of the instant impact from a couple Phillies acquisitions. But we've got the Cuz in the house. Anthony Gargano is here. He has some Phillies thoughts to get off his chest. Cuz, thanks for joining us.
Cool.
It's going to be fun, man, talking ball over the next
Let's
hour.
go, man. Look, you and I talk ball off the air. I love talking baseball with you. I do. I enjoy when you come on my show. I love that I'm on your show. And then in between, we're texting about it or talking about it.
You can tell when someone else is a baseball junkie. I mean, just you can see when somebody watches out-of-market games, and it's the same way I am, man. All throughout the summer, it's nonstop baseball. Once the Phillies game's over, tune in to some West Coast ball.
Yes.
But last night, that was pretty exciting. I mean, Luis Arraez comes in, bats cleanup, and instantly, first at bat, RBI single to left center, drops one in. Second at bat, drives in a run with a double. Pretty much exactly what the doctor ordered, and it's what Luis Arraez's billing is. You know, a runners in scoring position threat. What did you think of his first game?
Oh, my God. It was good. The energy in the yard was something, right? And it's why I love our fans, because only in Philadelphia would Luis Arraez get that kind of welcome. Like, look, there's very few places. Maybe Boston, right? Maybe the Yankees. But, like, the building was, like, energized. Look, it's what they needed. Mm-hmm. They needed to have a jolt of energy, and I think he provides it. He's an energetic guy. He's got a good kind of good energy about him. Mm-hmm. So you have him and the fans being into it. It was a good night. And
so he gets a standing ovation Arraez after that RBI single, and you could see him, I mean, slamming his fist when he gets on first base and motion to the dugout. I totally agree. It's not just that the Phillies needed another bat. They needed just a new sort of energy within this mix that has gotten stale in some ways. And we're going to talk about all that coming up. We're going to talk about the lineup structure and the defensive alignment and where Bohm fits into all this. But first, we're going to start with our Evans Pest Control home field advantage, because lo and behold, the Phillies are on a little bit of a run here. They've won 4 in a row, beaten up on the Nationals early this week. The lineup last night that we saw, it was not exactly what we would have expected. I was thinking Arraez was probably going to lead off. I was thinking you're going to go Arraez 1, Turner 2, Schwarber and Harper in the 3-4, but then it's Arraez in the cleanup spot. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's not my favorite. It's not how I would have constructed it. When I look at it, I prefer more of a traditional approach where my contact guy's leading off, and then I would have went you have to break up the lefties. So I would have went Arraez, Turner, Harper, Schwarber. That's how I would have done it, because I'm still a believer in, I know you want to try to get as many at bats for your big guys, but I still believe that, table setters and guys that drive them in. Like, I mean, Boston does it. I brought that up to you last night. Boston does it that way. They score 14. They're the hottest team in baseball. Yeah. They're, the Padres, there's teams that do it that way. I don't like going backwards.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, when I was growing up, like the 90s, the early 2000s, you would never see a Luis Arraez type batting cleanup. Yeah. That guy would be batting 1 or 2. But, I mean, we did see last night that, like, his ability with runners in scoring position, that can make a mark if he's in that spot where Harper or Schwarber or Turner are on base in front of him. So, I mean, I wonder if eventually we're going to get to a point where Arraez is leading off or batting second, but we did see last night, like, the upside of it, that Harper and Schwarber, Turner, they get on base a ton. Not as much Turner this year, but, you're expecting like a 350-plus OBP out of guys like Harper and Schwarber batting 1 and 3, right? So you figure that the sacks are going to be full for Luis Arraez as much as they're not. Like, you figure he's going to be coming up with guys at first and third, a guy runner on second.
Yeah, but here's my argument, right? My argument against is, A, Schwarber clogs it up, all right? So, you got to make sure that if Schwarber's on second, to get him home, it's got to be, it can't be a base hit at someone, right? And the bottom of the Phillies order is one that you can, like with Crawford, you could table set a little bit for Arraez, right? Like, so I'd like Crawford 9, Arraez 1.
And we
right? If you're going to have against right-handers and Crawford's in the game, he's going to have opportunities.
And we did see that last night. Crawford got on base late in the game, stole second. And that is kind of like exactly the way you would draw it up, is Crawford utilizing his speed. We talked like at the beginning of the season about the Crawford-Turner 9-1 dynamic, that maybe there's going to be a lot of double steals. That really has not materialized at all this season. Turner hasn't been running a ton with the Phillies since he got here. But yeah, I do wonder, because the other part of this is, and we have a graphic to show, Kyle Schwarber's been ice cold over the last month. I mean, he
3 home runs in July.
Yeah, so since July 1st, he only has 3 home runs and just 1 over his last 19 games. 8 of the last 13, he's been hitless. And, he's going to get hot again, but right now, Schwarber is not the best version of himself, so it's beneficial that you have Harper and Turner heating up, but ideally, you want your top, most dangerous hitter to get the most plate appearances. That's why the Phillies have had Schwarber in the leadoff spot most of the time he's been here. But right now, he's not quite that guy. And once he is, we'll get a full idea of what this offense could be with that top 4.
Well, let's go back to the line for 1 second, because my other argument is I have 2 power guys. That's it.
Yeah.
You have 2 legit power guys. So why not, if you have 2 guys that get on base in Arraez and Turner, you all of a sudden have the probability or the possibility of a 2 or 3 run home run, right? Like, I want to maximize their power. You're betting Schwarber leadoff. Again, you're not maximizing his power.
No. You're hoping to get out to a quick 1-0 lead, with a leadoff homer, which we've seen him do a ton.
Okay, even better if Arraez is on and he hits a 2-run bomb.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. When they made the trade, I was thinking it was going to be Arraez, Turner, Harper, Schwarber, and the Phillies may get to that point. Like, there's a lot of components to this whole ordeal that may change as it evolves and as time goes on. Like the Alec Bohm at first base component.
Dude, I don't understand it. You got to explain this to me. Why, oh why, do you reconfigure your entire defense so Alec Bohm could be in the lineup and into a double play for you?
That's the big question. When I was on with you, we were on together when the Luis Arraez trade went down. And I was enthusiastic about it because I didn't think that was going to be the final offensive move the Phillies made on trade deadline day, but it was. And it ended with Alec Bohm still not only in this mix, but squarely in this mix as the everyday first baseman. And if you look at last night's lineup, the 5-hole hitter, that's the other part of the lineup configuration I wonder about is, does Bohm make any sense behind Luis Arraez?
No.
Luis Arraez himself is a big-time double play candidate because he puts the ball in play so much and he doesn't run well. So to have 2 of those guys back-to-back, the upside of it is that they both, throughout their careers, have hit with runners in scoring position. The downside of it is you're not getting much power out of either slot, and there's going to be a lot of ground balls, a lot of 6-4 threes.
Yeah. Bohm's 3rd in double plays in baseball. First is Caminero. Which, hey, you hit all those home runs, I'm good with you.
You get a pass.
All right, I'm fine with that. But if you're Bohm and you're powerless, why are we doing that? And you're going to put him at first, so you weaken a power position. First base is a power position, and you're going to weaken it with Bohm. And switch everything around. To the life of me, I just disagree with everything they do. I just don't understand the wisdom of it. They knew they had a Bohm problem 3 years ago. Dombrowski did nothing about it. And again, hey, it's all great. It works against Palmquist.
Yeah.
Give me a break, dude. Like, when you're playing in the playoffs against the Cubs, the Braves, the Padres, right? Forget about the Dodgers. And you're facing legitimate pitching? Come on.
Well, that's the other part of this, too. So if you look ahead to like the Phillies' first playoff opponent, whether it's the Cubs or the Braves in the wild card round, game 1 of the wild card round, if it's the Braves, you're facing Chris Sale, which makes all your right-handed batters that much more important because you figure the lefties are not going to do serious damage against the Sale. If you face the Cubs, it's going to be Shota Imanaga, Matthew Boyd, probably in games 1 and 2, 2 lefties. It, again, increases the need.
That already gave you trouble.
Yeah, and it increases the need for Bohm to hit, for JT Realmuto to hit, right-handed batters who just have not done the job consistently this season. And I wonder if Bohm is really going to be an everyday player rest of season. Like, if he's not hitting, or if you're facing a tough right-hander, do they realign it? Is it a day where Harper is back at first base and you have Gabriel Rincones or whoever the left-handed version of your outfielder is in that spot? Like, I don't necessarily think this means that Alec Bohm is going to be starting 50 games in a row to end the season.
Yeah, but why go through all this drama when honestly, I'd rather have De La Cruz. I would rather have De La Cruz hit 5th behind Schwarber than Bohm.
Yeah, and you might see that because honestly, if you think about that, like, is this Phillies lineup markedly different with the current arrangement or with De La Cruz and Wright on any given night and Harper maybe DHing or playing first base and everything else remaining the same? I mean, Brian De La Cruz has made better contact over the last week than most guys on this team. And honestly, I'm wondering right now, why did it take so long for Brian De La Cruz to get himself up here? This is a guy who...
I don't know what they're looking at. I question what they look at. I mean, I honestly, I think they are not good evaluators.
Well, they fell...
I mean, if you... Real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you. But if you go look at their track record, prospects, right, development, go look at all the guys that they've done. They have failed more time than they've got it right. Look, it's not good to hit 300 as a GM.
That doesn't get you in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, identifying realistically what you got.
Well, I think that honestly plays into some of the decisions they make, that the failures in player development, because it makes them so much more hopeful that Otto Kemp can actually hit the ground running. Like, so they gave Otto Kemp the opportunity out of spring training as opposed to Brian De La Cruz because they wanted to be able to say, homegrown player, inexpensive, maybe we get him in our mix for the next handful of seasons. Similar thing to Alec Bohm, where they kept talking themselves into Alec Bohm because they were hoping that the number 3 overall pick in the country could develop into what you thought he would, and he never did. And they didn't. They became obsessed with getting fair value for him on the trade market when it might have just made more sense to shake things up.
Right. Well, what's fair value? If he's not good, what are your expectations when you're thinking about it? And look, I mean, I thought the same thing. I saw Alec Bohm, and I go, 6'5". He's got great plate coverage, right? Mm-hmm. He doesn't strike out a ton. I thought power would eventually come because of the frame, right? Like when you got that frame, I thought the power would come. Well, it never did. He turned 30 yesterday, right? Like he's 30 years old. This is it. Like at 28, you knew. At 27, you knew you had a problem, that he was never going to give you the power that you wanted it. And he's not good enough to play on the corners with his bat.
And so this season, Bohm's on pace for 18 homers, 87 RBIs. There are 2 seasons he drove in 97 runs. So from strictly like a run production standpoint, it's been okay. I think this is just one of those situations where if you had enough offensive talent around him, maybe you can hide a guy like that in the 7 or 8 spot if you have other big thumpers at non-traditional positions.
Correct.
But that's not the way this roster's built. And still, even after the deadline, it's built for him to be one of your 5 most important hitters.
I mean, let's face it, they got lucky with the power production from Marsh.
Yeah.
Completely unexpected, right? So you got lucky there. But the truth of the matter is, we just said it. You got 2 guys, right? As much as we go, the Phillies are thumpers. Well, are they?
Yeah. This used to be like a beer league softball team, the way it was built in terms of like built around the bomb, but it's not anymore. Now it's a Harper, Schwarber, and then string hits together.
Offense. Right, and even Bryce will hit you bombs, but he's not hitting you 40 anymore.
No. I think if you get like 32 out of Bryce, that's a good season.
Right.
This year he's probably on pace for right around like 32 to 35.
You actually are devoid of the long ball, especially when you're not a good defensive team. You're not a good base running team, right? Like all those traditional ways to look at baseball, which is, hey, we're going to be smart. We're going to be strong up the middle, right? We got pitching. Like if you're Dombrowski, and I'm all for having those 3 aces, I think that's what excites me and why I would never write them off, because I think those 3 guys in a series gives you a chance to win, even against the Dodgers. You can beat the Dodgers with Sanchez and Wheeler and Luzardo. You can. But the problem is, if you're going to go that pitching heavy, which he's got a lot of money tied up in the rotation, well, your defense has to be better.
No doubt. And you need to be able to like pop the occasional random home run, which this team every once in a while can, but hitting is never...
It took Hill to do it. Derek Hill does it.
Which, by the way, how about Derek Hill, if you get past the studs on this team, may have been the most impactful player on the team all season.
I know.
He's like single-handedly won them several games with his offense and his defense.
He's been clutch. You're right, great defense. Like, again, I'd much rather see De La Cruz or Derek Hill in the lineup than Bohm.
Yeah.
So what are we doing? Wasting time with Bohm at first and Bryce in the outfield.
And so that's a big thing. I'm curious to see the rest of the season with the way Don Mattingly plays it, the way the Phillies front office plays it. Are they going to move Harper back and forth from right field to first base, or are they going to want to just keep him in right field and not want to worry about the constant overthinking about the different positions or the physical wear and tear of going back and forth between those two positions? Because it does seem like on a lot of nights it's going to make sense. Have Harper at first, have De La Cruz in right field. I mean, like I said earlier, I was surprised that it took De La Cruz this long to get up to the majors, because over the offseason, he was the MVP of the Dominican Winter League, which is a really tough league. That's not that's not just like something to throw out there. Like, that was good production against top-level competition. Then in spring training, De La Cruz was hitting the ball as hard as anybody in camp for most of the time. The numbers necessarily weren't there the whole spring training, but a lot of line drives, a lot of deep fly balls. And then the season begins, and he's at AAA, and Otto Kemp's up here. When Otto Kemp struggles, they bring up Felix Reyes. It took forever to get De La Cruz up here, and they didn't bring him up until they had to re-sign him to a different contract, because he opted out, and they were gonna risk losing him, and so they re-signed him to a different contract, then brought him up, and now he's thriving. It's only been a small sample size of a couple of weeks, but
he's really been all year. Like you said, in AAA, he was hitting the ball. Like, all right, like I've seen him hit. He hit the ball at the Marlins a little bit. So, again, my only point is that if you I'm a Bryce fan, right? So I commend Bryce for going to the outfield. But he goes to the outfield if I got Pete Alonso at first.
Exactly.
Right? Like, yo, Bryce, I'm going to sign Alonso. Like, all the talk about Bichette. And look, I wanted Bichette. I wanted another right-handed bat. Like, well, I didn't know he would have a horrible year. Whatever. If this was on the table, why weren't they in on Alonso?
Exactly. If this was on the table, why wasn't it on the table 6-7 months ago when you could have actually brought in like a top-notch first baseman? I honestly thought on deadline day that there was the distant white whale possibility of getting Pete Alonso, because the Orioles started selling off pieces. They traded Taylor Ward, they traded Adley Rutschman, they traded some relievers. So like, I was thinking maybe there's a slim chance that, and let's not completely throw that away. Maybe this offseason or into next season, if the Orioles are not thinking they can compete, maybe the Phillies do engage them in a Pete Alonso trade talk. Because that, honestly, if they were to have made that move, that would have made this a complete offense.
Now you got the two boppers that go together, Schwarber and Alonso, with Bryce. That makes sense. Like, here's the thing. Like, look at Milwaukee. Milwaukee has Vaughn, a right-handed stick at first. Got some pop. That works. Like, he works a count, right? Like, so against left-handed pitching, they have a right-handed lineup. Mm-hmm. Now, their best players, you got Turang, a lefty, right? You got Yelich, and you got Bowers.
Yeah, Bowers also a lefty.
Right? Churio's a righty.
Yeah.
Like, so, you got balance. Like, and their lineup makes sense. The Phillies lineup makes no sense.
It doesn't. It does. I mean, they're just hoping that like the skill sets that these guys all bring to the table can create, a juggernaut of an offense, or an offense that's at least good enough to beat top-level competition. Luis Arraez, I love him as a player. It's just that given the context of the rest of this team, Stott is still left-handed, Marsh is still left-handed, and the bottom of the lineup, that's 6, 7, 8, 9. If your 5 through 9 is Bohm, Marsh, Stott, Real Muto, Justin Crawford, that's still a lot of crossing your fingers and hoping that these guys can come through when it matters most.
I know. And the shame of it is that you got 3 great pitchers. Like, the one thing Dombrowski did, and I'll give him all the credit in the world, was the Luzardo move. Mm-hmm. I love Luzardo. I loved him when he was in Miami.
Yeah.
He's got filthy stuff. You saw last night, what a great economical game, right? He pitched the contact. He went deep. He maximized his pitch count. It was just a great, well-pitched game against a good offense, right? And great, right? Like, you got Wheeler and you got Sanchez with Luzardo. That's awesome. So you got the nucleus, and you have Harper and you got Schwarber. And you have the nucleus of something. They just failed putting the rest of the team together.
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue with Dombrowski, is that you failed putting the rest of the, like, I give you Vaughn at first. Like, you should have moved on from Bohm. I got no problem with Stott. Like, Stott gives him professional at bat ABs. That's fine, right? I like the kid. I like Crawford. I don't know. I mean, he's another lefty that's got no power. and then you got another lefty in Dante Nori.
Right.
I'm like, you got redundancy.
Yeah.
Like, in putting your whole big league, like, I watched Howie Roseman put together a long-range plan.
Mm-hmm.
And you see who's under contract, what holes they're looking, who they're going to pay. Like, who you're paying is a big deal. Like, you're not waiting until, like, Howie's like, listen, like right now, Jalix Hunt's going to get paid. I'm telling you right now, he's already circled as a guy that they're going to pay. Ojomo's going to walk because you're not going to be able to pay him because they got their 2 tackles. My point of bringing up what Howie does is that, and you could do the same thing in baseball. It's not any different. Who's my long range? What's it look like? Injuries become a part of it, but your position guys and what they're signed for and what you're looking at, I don't understand the way he GMs.
It's crucial foresight that you need to have if you're running a baseball organization because, for example, when Aaron Nola was re-signed a couple off seasons ago,
great point.
You need to be able to look ahead. Like, yes, Aaron Nola was decent in that season leading up to it, but it's more so it's less about like envisioning the best case scenario and more so about envisioning what's realistic over the next handful of seasons. And if you like, for example,
with all those innings under his belt,
right?
At some point, he's going to have some arm difficulties where he's going to lose a little bit. It's almost like they don't look at where age and innings factor, and they project like. They look at things from the best case scenario.
And I think that a lot of the reason why this roster looks slapped together is because you have $38 million that you're paying Castellanos and Walker who are not here. So because that is such a hole financially for 2 guys that are not helping you, it affects what you're able or unable to do elsewhere. And like you were saying, that the elite talent the Phillies have can play with the Dodgers. I agree. Like 1 through 8, the 8 best players on this roster, you can put up against the 8 best players on the Dodgers roster. But what about roster spots 10 through 26?
Well, there you go.
15 through 26. Like that's where those teams are different.
You're so right. So, forget about Scoble for a second. Just look at their makeup. Look at their lineup they can put out there, right? So, and it's not like they have any. I get the Ohtani thing, the Ferrells and everything else, but the Phillies have money, right? They're a top 3. When it comes to payroll.
Yeah.
They go Ohtani, Freeman. You got Betts, Muncy.
Pages is in that mix as well.
Pages, I didn't even get to the outfield.
Yeah.
Teoscar, who I always wanted Teoscar here.
He'd be a perfect fit here.
Perfect fit as a right-handed bat, right? And then you got little guys like Kike, like who comes up big, right? They lost Will Smith, and all of a sudden Dalton Rushing is up catching. Like, they had no answer at catcher. At the 11th hour, they're giving JT that contract.
Right.
Like, where's your answer at catcher? Like, they were just going to go sign some dude off the street.
It's the difference between being proactive, like the Dodgers are, and reactive, like it seems the Phillies have been in recent seasons. And
that's my problem with Dombrowski.
And we're going to get to more of Dombrowski's failures and successes here coming up because he has made a couple of important under-the-radar moves for the Phillies that have helped them.
Bullpen.
Albeit not finish the job, but he's been able to do some things here and there, which we're going to touch on as we come back here on the PHLY Phillies podcast.
Xfinity has a 5-year price guarantee. What if you knew you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year guarantee. Imagine a Wi-Fi at home that makes everything work together. It finds problems and fixes them before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that lets you stream the game, even when your whole family is online. All your devices in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from me. A lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, and dreams grow bigger. But your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only, restrictions apply. Parks Casino, it's my casino of choice because it's right there off Street Road in Bensalem. It's a great night out for headline entertainment and award-winning dining. Make the night complete and stay at the beautiful new Parks View Hotel, which is just steps away from the Parks Casino and offers a shuttle service. Just announced, we have some great shows coming up. Comedian Ben Bankus coming up on August 22nd. Magician Michael Carbonaro on September 19th. Tickets still available for these headliners at Parks Casino. The Excite Center is magnificent. George Thorogood and the Destroyers coming to town August 28th. Sebastian Bach with special guest Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses on October 23rd. Just head to parkscasino.com to buy tickets. You must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER and make it a great date night and stop by one of the terrific restaurants that Parks Casino has.
Are back here on the PHLY Phillies podcast. Corey Seidman and Anthony Gargano talking some ball today. And Anthony, the Phillies have been playing some games on the field. It's not just the decisions made a couple 100 feet above home plate in the executive suites for the deadline. The Phillies have won 4 games in a row, and that is our Ace Hardware temperature check because this team is heating up at a good time. They were struggling coming out of the All-Star break, but now the 2 wins against the Orioles followed by 2 against the Nationals. I look at this as a pretty good time to be facing the Nationals because they had that great offense the first half of the season, but then they traded 2 big pieces away in Curtis Mead and Luis Garcia, plus James Wood on the IL. So, I don't know, this could be a 4-game sweep.
Dude, the Nationals make no sense to me. The problem baseball has is not the Dodgers. The problem baseball has is the Nationals. That you trade Garcia, who's a big-time power bat, and Foster Griffin,
yeah, him too,
their left-handed starter, and they moved Curtis Mead, who I like. The Phillies had him here, who's a right-handed bat. He actually would look great here.
He sure would.
He got hurt. He got hit in the hand in Boston. Like, how scary are the Red Sox that they have Mead, and he got hit in the hand, so he's out. But, dude, I look, I go, why would you dismantle your team? And all they do is bring up studs. Like, they have this kid, Ortiz, he homered off of Nola Monday night. Dude, this kid's got big, he's a lefty. He hit second Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
This kid got great bat speed, big time power.
And how about that shortstop last night, Nasim Nunez, who he's making some fantastic defensive plays. I agree with you in the sense that, like, the Nationals did not expect to contend this year or to win games. But once you actually do, why not go? Why not try to make the third wild card? Why not see if you can make a little bit of noise?
That's why I love AJ Preller.
Right. He always goes for it.
Yeah.
And he went for it again, getting Robbie Ray and who was the Casey Mize.
Yes.
2 arms who would have looked great with the Phillies. I got to believe, by the way, that based on those moves coming at the 11th hour, that the Phillies were in on Ray and they were in on Mize, and that the Padres just enticed those teams more with their prospects than the Phillies were able to. Because those
Which tells you the state of the Phillies farm system, because the Padres system's depleted with all those trades.
It seems like every year the Padres deplete their farm system, yet they're still able to make these trades every summer. It's crazy.
It's mind-boggling.
I mean, they're third in attendance this year, so they're like the biggest riser in Major League Baseball in terms of bringing more people out to the ballpark. That's all they got down there.
Chargers left. I got a buddy of mine who lives in San Diego, and it's like baseball heaven. Because, you've been there.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's one of the greatest places ever. You got, Mission Beach, and you got all those incredible towns on the water. Downtown's cool.
It's a great place. I mean,
the yard's cool. You got the fish tacos.
Aside from being like the most expensive city in America, it's just,
everybody wants to live there. Yeah. Weather's perfect. It's not LA. It's actually perfect.
You might be facing those Padres come playoff time because they're on a little bit of a roll. Ethan, you have those wild card standings because the Phillies are, they're making a push in the sense that they're distancing themselves from the teams behind them, and a couple of those teams behind them have petered out. Like the Nationals, I don't think we consider a threat anymore. The Marlins traded Liam Hicks. That's a big deal. I mean, that's one of
he had a great slam last night.
He did at Coors Field. Big hit for him. And, the Diamondbacks and Padres look like one of those 2 teams is going to be the third wild card.
Yeah.
Who scares you the most among these teams you're seeing below the Phillies?
Padres, because the Padres are hot. Machado's been on fire the last 2 weeks. Tatis all of a sudden regained his power.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson Merrill, who was deathly quiet for much of the season, he's heated up. So all of a sudden you look at their lineup and you go, that's a pretty good lineup.
Yeah.
And they got pitching now. They already have a great bullpen. And I wanted Robbie Ray because here's my biggest problem. I don't want to be negative because I told you, I do think the Phillies can play with anybody because of their starting pitching. So I'm excited about that. And I love getting Arraez because I do think he changes things. So I'm excited about that. I wanted another starter because, Core, once you get into, you're going to be a wild card. I doubt you're going to catch the Braves. 7.5 back. I know the schedule's favorable, but Atlanta doesn't look like it's fading like it did. So that means you're going to play the wild card, which means you're going to need a fourth starter.
Yeah.
And Nola can't pitch. And they're going to trot Nola out. And I'm telling you right now, they're either going to play Chicago. Say they play Chicago or Atlanta. You play Chicago, you got to deal with Crow Armstrong.
At the top of the lineup.
Michael Bush.
Yep.
Hap, who's got power. He's a switch hitter.
Yep.
Right? Their lefties can hit. Forget about the Braves because you got to deal with Olsen,
Harris,
Michael Harris, Drake Baldwin. Like, so the problem with Nola is power lefties, and you're going to be facing good teams. And the likelihood of you looking up at a 2-9, he may pitch well the rest of the game, but he's going to give up 3 runs.
Well, I think that if the Phillies get to that point, that they might start a lefty opener instead of Aaron Nola. I mean, Aaron Nola started a playoff game last year, and if memory serves, he only went 2 innings. I think that's probably going to be the length of the leash that he has this year. It's going to be a short leash, and if the top of the order is lefties, I'd rather see Tim Meza facing the top of the order than Aaron Nola in that first inning.
But at some point, he's got to pitch.
He is. And
you're going to have you got to pitch somebody, not pitch Painter. It's somebody's going to have to pitch.
And by the way, Painter pitches tonight. This is another big night. He needs to go out there and build upon the momentum that he had against the Orioles, because just because Andrew Painter did it one time doesn't mean that he's fixed now and he's a reliable piece of the rotation. It's going to be either Nola or Painter or an opener in that, game 1 of an NLDS if the Phillies reach there, having used their top 3. So that's why you just wanted to see
Robbie Ray.
Yeah, you wanted to see the rotation fortified. Let me ask you real quick. There were a couple guys that were let go over the last few days since the deadline. Marcell Ozuna was designated for assignment by the Pirates, and Jorge Soler was released by the Angels. Does either one of those guys do anything for you?
Yeah, I would kick the tires on both of them. Right now, what do you got to lose?
Nothing.
Soler, remember, he's playing with the Angels. That's a tough park to hit. It's not a great hitter's park. I don't know. I take a look at. Ozuna's bat. I haven't really studied him. His bat. I saw him a little bit when the Phillies played him, and I watched the Padres one other game recently, and his bat looked a little slow. But I don't know. Take a look at both those guys. Got pop.
I mean, both guys have had down years by their standards, but both of them have the ability to hit one out of any park. And all it takes is a guy getting hot for 3 weeks that can change the trajectory of your season, or a guy getting hot into October. The Braves, for example.
Imagine if you got Ozuna, who was with the Braves all those years.
Yeah.
Imagine you got Ozuna, and he goes on a little bit of a tear with the long. Now he hits 5th. You've solved the Bohm issue.
And you have another option. Like if Bohm's not hitting, you can put that guy in right field or left field. It makes your defense worse. I mean, both Ozuna and Soler are not strong defenders, but honestly, at this point with the Phillies defense, I'm at the point where it can't get much worse than it's been, over the course of the outfield and the diamond. And I just want to see the best offensive team out on the field. I know that you want to protect your starting pitching with better defense, but that's just not the construction of this roster. You don't have Gold Glove caliber players aside from a Bryson Stott and a JT Realmuto. The rest of the defensive alignment's pretty weak. So just why not lean into what's your strength, or what's becoming your strength at least?
That's it. You might as well kind of look at it that way. You got enough lefties that you can use another one of those guys could help out, and I'd take a shot.
Do you have a preference in terms of we're saying that the likelihood is that the Phillies face either the Cubs or the Braves in the wild card game, the wild card round? Because right now, Phillies are the 5 seed. 5 seed plays the 4 seed, which would be the Cubs. If you finish in the 6, you would play the 3, who's most likely going to be the Braves. Do you have a preference, one or the other?
Probably Chicago.
You'd rather face Chicago?
Only because it's tough, but I'm not a believer. The problem is that they got 2 lefties, which scare me. Sale. I'm afraid of Sale.
Yeah.
Right?
As we all are.
Right? I mean, it's close. Because both their lineups are very similar. They're both dangerous. I'm not a big Gossman fan, but they're gonna throw the two lefties at you.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly might lean Braves only because if you look at the Braves rotation right now, it's Chris Sale and then 4 question marks. Like, their fan base is even more frustrated than the Phillies fan base.
Because everyone on Scooble. Yeah.
And they didn't get anything done for these starting pitchers. The only one they brought in was Tyler Mahle, who, like, the Phillies didn't even consider Tyler Mahle.
He's a right-hander. The Phillies crush him.
So, like, the Braves would be looking at starting Grant Holmes in Game 2 or Reynaldo Lopez if he's healthy. So, I don't know. That might be an opponent that's right.
There's somebody coming back. Who am I missing?
For who?
For Atlanta.
Well, they have Schwellenbach, who might be back. But
He's
who knows?
back.
He hasn't pitched all year.
Right.
Strider looks like he's out for the season. His locker was cleaned out during their last homestand.
No, he's cooked.
And Thurston Waldrep got injured again after he came back.
So right now, Elder. Phillies will kill him.
Elder.
Martin Perez, as you talked about.
That's funny that you bring those two up. Elder is exactly the type of pitcher the Phillies would hit with this lineup, and Martin Perez is the kind of guy who, even though he doesn't have,
would hurt the Phillies.
Could hurt you, exactly.
Yeah.
The finesse lefty, the dreaded finesse lefty.
Yeah.
Well, when we get back here on the PHLY Phillies podcast, we're going to talk more about the successes and the failures of Dave Dombrowski, who, according to reports, might be in line for an extension after this year. So a lot to get to.
Don't forget the succession plan, Corey.
The all-important succession plan. So that's all ahead here on the PHLY Phillies podcast.
I'll tell you something that I like, and that's actually getting rewards on the way you already spend your money. And that's exactly what you get with the everyday elite, like Bryce Harper, Visa card from TrueMark Credit Union. We're talking up to 4% cash back on eligible everyday purchases, including gas. And for a limited time, new cardholders can also get a 0% introductory APR on purchase for the first 12 months, then just 17.99% after that. More cash back, less catch. Apply today at TrueMark.com or stop by one of the 24 area TrueMark Credit Union locations. Rates based on credit worthiness, 4% cash back on eligible purchases. Bonus categories capped annually. Restrictions apply. Visit TrueMark.com for details. Federally insured by the NCUA. Elkin Chevrolet, run by 3 brothers. Real brothers, local guys, and Philly sports nuts. And right now, these guys are going all in. Check out their inventory of Chevy trucks and SUVs, the ones that people actually want, and they're priced to move fast. Silverados, Equinoxes, Trax, Trailblazers. If it's on your list, they have it, and they're going quick. So if you've been waiting, don't wait anymore, because once they're gone, they're gone. Whether it's getting to a game, getting to work, hitting the road this summer season, or getting down to your favorite game in town, you'll be driving on the right side at the right price, and that makes it easy to say yes. And here's the difference. No runaround, no back and forth, no games, just real brothers making real deals every single day. Elkin Chevrolet, real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honking good service. Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey.
Welcome back to the PHLY Phillies podcast. Corey Seidman and Anthony Gargano here with you on a Wednesday. And because there are a lot of Phillies fans who hope that Dave Dombrowski did more leading into Monday's 6 p.m. trade deadline, and our producer Ethan Hartley put together a couple graphics showing the good and bad of Dave Dombrowski the last few years, because it has been a mixed bag. First, we'll start with the most impressive move. So is there anything on this list that sticks out to you? I'll say that my favorite on this list was that they were able to sell high on Mick Abel, a guy who had struggled through up and down the minor league ladder, then put together 3-4 good months, and the Phillies turned him into maybe the best closer in all of baseball in that Joan Duran trade.
Great trade. I you know how I feel about Luzardo. That's my favorite. I'm a big Luzardo fan. I like that move. I mean, look, the old Hoppy move worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, he got traded
for like bits.
Nothing.
He got traded to the Rangers for almost nothing. Yeah. And then this Matt Strahm trade, I mean, the Phillies sold, I guess I won't quite say selling high, because Strahm didn't have as good a season last year as the one before, but they had the foresight in that move at least to shift Strahm, a declining reliever, into Jonathan Bolin, who you might have as for 5-6 years at an inexpensive price, who's already this year become your second most important reliever. And then also being able to extend Jesus Luzardo after trading for him at what seems like it's a pretty fair price. I mean, he went out.
I thought that was a great move.
Yeah, he went out and dominated again last night. And Caleb Killian, the other part of this Luis Arraez
Looked
trade.
good last night's fastball looked good.
Yeah, he pitched the ninth.
Some bite to it.
It did. And that's another guy who, like Bolin, the Phillies are probably going to have Caleb Killian for the next 5 years. I don't think he's eligible for free agency until after either 2030 or 2031. So Roman Marquez was a steep price to pay for a 2-month rental in Luis Arraez, but at least there is a bit of
No,
team
he had
control.
to do it. I have no issue with that. I get it. You're going for it. There may not be baseball. You don't know about the future. You got to try, and they need an injection of life.
Yeah.
So I have no problem. You didn't trade Gage Wood. You didn't trade the kid Renteria.
Yeah, Francisco Renteria.
You didn't trade him. So I'm good with I'm good with the move. But again, my biggest issue with Dombrowski, and listen, he's doing a long time, right? Like, so I give the man respect for being a long-time baseball man. I say God bless you as much as we'll grouse, and I'll grouse. My biggest problem is the plan. Like, again, I just don't think, and I think there's a Phillies way. And the Phillies way, I love this team, all right? I do. I love the Phillies. Their people work there are fantastic. They know how to do ceremonies. They're really great people. The problem is they've always looked at their own players, their homegrown talent, and have exaggerated what they are. They're the only team, like every GM I've been around, whether it's been football or basketball or baseball and many other markets, right? John Shearholtz, was very close with when he was in Atlanta, right? Like you're supposed to look at the worst case scenario, right, and work from there. They look at the best case scenario, like, oh, this guy's going to become something,
Right.
Like, well, what if he doesn't?
And the ironic part is that Dombrowski arrived here with the reputation of a baseball executive who sells off all the top prospects everywhere he goes. He has not done that here. The best prospects that he's traded have been probably Mick Abel and Roman Marquez, who, by the way, Roman Marquez was the Philly number 4 prospect at the time of the trade. Yeah. So was Starlene Caba when the Phillies traded him for Jesus Luzardo. And here we are, 18 months, 2 years later. Yeah, nobody would reverse that trade if they had the opportunity.
They need to do a better job drafting.
In terms of overrating your own guys, Brian Cashman, the Yankees GM, gets a lot of the same flack because they haven't gone all in as much as Yankees fans would have hoped over the last, I'd say, decade. Still haven't won a World Series since 2009. And I was just watching this interview earlier today. It was from a couple years ago, Joel Sherman grilling Brian Cashman about the guys not developing. And Cashman was pretty much saying, okay, and what happens if Anthony Volpe does have a good season? Then you guys are going to be saying, well, your players did develop. Well, that didn't happen. And that's an example of, like, you can't be looking at things through the rose-colored glasses. You have to be looking at what's the likelihood.
Right. Look at it. Now the Yankees just brought some kid up to play shortstop. He actually hit a home run last
George
time.
Lombard Jr.?
And he hit a home run last time.
Yeah, and he looks like he's going to be pretty good. He looks like he might be the real deal for them.
But again, but they also, you got Rice. Like, they've also produced real talent.
Yeah, real homegrown talent.
Like the Phillies don't. Phillies don't produce any bats.
Well, I mean, if you look at this Phillies roster right now, like, who's homegrown on it? You have Nola, Stott, Bohm.
Nola,
Stott, Bohm, Andrew Painter.
Right.
And Orion Kirkering. That's 5 guys. That's 5 guys out of 26.
Oh, my God. I
mean, that's what you get yourself into trouble when you have to constantly go out
and look at him.
Market.
And you got Kirkering's afraid of his own shadow, right? Bohm, we've discussed ad nauseum.
Nola had a good run.
He had a great. Listen, I got no beef with Nola, right? I got no beef with Nola. I mean, you should have saw it coming, but I got no beef with it.
And I would say Stott has had a pretty good career to this point.
I agree. I have a soft spot for Stott. I like Bryson Stott. I still think, you know why? He's got an approach at the plate. Like, he'll make a guy work. Like, he's a professional. Mm-hmm. He's got a good glove. He's not a guy that's going to kill you. Like, is he Chase Utley? No. But he's not going to kill you. he's a decent ball player.
Yeah, and he extends at bats. He's able
Yeah,
to foul
like-
pitches off. He had that one
And
at
when he
bat.
gets hot, yes.
Yeah, that one at bat last week was 15 pitches, and
It was
he ends
awesome.
He ends it with a line drive that goes off the shortstop's glove.
Right.
I mean, when Stott is going well, he is an important player for this team because he
He's got
makes
great bat speed.
makes a pitcher-
Remember Strider? When Strider was at his top, and he had that foul pitch after pitch, and he ropes it into the corner,
Yeah.
got around on it.
Yeah, so I don't have any problem with the season they've gotten out of Stott. I mean, with Marsh, he had that dynamic first half, and he's been pretty much a zero since the All-Star break, which is unfortunate. You hope that he's able to turn this around because if you get even 75% of what Marsh was in the first half, then that does elongate your lineup a little bit. If you're
Yes.
able to like repencil him back into that 5 or 6 spot and actually expect to get some offense out of it, because
Yes.
that was such an important part of the Phillies' first half. It wasn't just the fun, cool story of let's get Brandon Marsh to the All-Star game. It was also finally this guy has made steps forward and become an everyday player, and things have kind of gone in reverse ever since.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's the truth. But again, you need more.
Yeah.
Like, you need to develop more great teams. Like, look at the Dodgers, right? Like, they still develop guys. As much as we go, oh, they buy everybody. Well, guess what? They develop guys, and they develop enough talent to trade for players.
In a perfect world this year, Andrew Painter would have cemented himself as like a viable every fifth day big league
Dude,
starter.
I'm so worried about him.
And that he pitches tonight.
Because even in the last start, what did you think of it?
I thought it was good. I mean, the first inning was shaky, and then he kind of found a groove after that. But you need to see it.
fastball?
You see, it looked better. It looked a little better. I still don't see that as like a fastball that's going to scare opposing teams. I think he's going to need to pinpoint locate it. That's going to be the key for him.
What happened? The thing just didn't take?
I mean, you're so used to hearing, okay, guy gets Tommy John surgery, and then maybe 18 months after the surgery, he's throwing harder, or he's throwing just as hard as he ever was. That has not been the case for Andrew Painter.
No.
The fastball's been different, and now it's just incumbent upon him to figure out how to use the rest of his stuff. I mean, I like that it seems that the Phillies are simplifying a little bit with him. He threw a changeup in that last start. He kind of got away from the splitter and was more of a changeup, and it seemed to work a little bit. It's going to need to continue.
He's going to have to master a changeup.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to, if he's going to pitch in the big leagues, he's got to get a changeup. But, dude, I mean, he looked was going to be special. I'm sad over it because the kid was going to be, he was 98 with a tail.
And think about just the tone of this conversation 6 months ago. We still viewed him as like a ascending prospect who might be able to raise
you hear
the
Tommy
ceiling.
John, you hear, all right, well, he's going to come back and he's going to, and I read a whole story about Tommy John, and sometimes, and like, there's a fallacy that people go, well, you throw harder. Well, really, you're fixed. So any of the wear and tear that you had accumulated is now gone. So you're actually pitching up until what you can do.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, it does. I mean, I remember when I was in high school pitching, and I got a cortisone shot in my shoulder, and the next week I felt like I had never thrown a pitch in my life. I felt fresher than I ever was before. So, I mean, that's small potatoes compared to like
it's
a
true,
reconstructive surgery. But
Yeah.
And this is a big start for Painter tonight because this Nationals lineup, while the Nationals still lead baseball in a bunch of offensive categories, that was a previous version of this team. The only real threat in this lineup now is C.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
So that's the one guy you got to circle.
Watch the kid first. Ortiz.
Yeah. That's your guy.
Watch that kid.
So, I mean, you got to circle them. Don't let them beat you. Hopefully, Painter's able
Who
to
else
get
is
you
there?
through.
Well, the Lyle can hit,
He can hit. Lyle's pretty good.
right? But you're right. Other than that,
I'm just hoping Painter tonight
Nunez
can get you through 5, 6, something like that. You have a bullpen that has a couple new pieces now. Maybe we'll see Brooks Raley at some point. But yeah, looking at this Nationals lineup now without their big guns like Dylan Cruz, Keibert Ruiz,
Brady House,
not really gonna scare you off too much. So hopefully the Phillies are able to finish off this national series in a good way. That it's a 4-gamer, so at the very least try to take 3 out of 4 because
who's going for Washington?
you're catching them at the right time. The Nationals tonight, who they got? I mean, they traded away their starting pitching too.
Foster Griffin. Like, are you kidding me?
Foster Griffin's pitching tonight for the Guardians. Phillies tonight see Jake Irvin, who's like the generic right-handed pitcher.
Yeah.
You know, he's been with the Nationals for a while.
Not to be confused with Cole Irvin.
Who turned in a pretty good career after the Phillies let him go. I saw he was just DFA'd last week.
It was funny. I hated Cole Irvin.
Why?
Well, why do you think?
Just because he's a soft tossing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's nothing I hate more than soft tossing lefties.
Man, well, the Phillies, hopefully, Zach Littell last night and then Jake Irvin today, these are the kinds of right-handed mediocre pitchers that you should be able to beat up on. Yeah. So we'll see what the Phillies have.
I think it's another big night.
I think it is, too. This seems like an 8-1 win or something like that. Yeah. The Nationals just have, no life right now.
Nah, they're dead.
And it probably had to take so much of the positive mojo out of their clubhouse when they saw these big pieces get sent to other teams who actually are going to try to go for it this year. So on the other side here, to wrap up the PHLY Phillies podcast, we took a look at the good of Dombrowski. There's also a whole lot of bad, and there are reports out there that he may be running this front office beyond 2026. We'll talk about what that might look like on the other side.
And I'm going to go over.
Summer is here. We're in the middle of it. And if you're already thinking, can I afford this trip? Can I get away? Can I do this? You're already behind the ball. And that's why my wife and I use Monarch, because our kids always want to go down the shore. They always want to go to the ballpark. They want to go to Hershey Park. They want to go to Legoland. And instead of stressing about, can I afford this or can I afford that, we decided to use Monarch to know if we can afford that. And Monarch is the personal finance app that tracks everything: accounts, investments, savings goals, and spending. And right now, you can get half off your first year of Monarch Core for just $50 using code PHLY. The thing we love about it, it's like having a personal financial advisor in your back pocket, sends you weekly budgeting and savings goals, catches things that our kids may have ordered on TV that we didn't know about. So use code PHLY at monarch.com to get half off your first year for just $50. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code PHLY. It's an on-demand world we live in. You can stream anything from the palm of your hand. You get your favorite foods delivered to you anywhere in 20 minutes. So why not take that same user-friendly experience to the ticketing world? And that's why I use the Game Time app. Whether it's games down in South Philly or your favorite musician coming through or a comedian, or you want to go see a show, a theater show, Game Time's got you covered. It's the best app in the ticketing world. Best coverage, best image of your seat views, so you know exactly what you're getting all the time. And my favorite part, no hidden fees. So you're not going to get smacked over the head with some fee you didn't know about. The price you see is the price you're going to pay at checkout. Zone deals, you pick the section, let Game Time pick the seats, and you save. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code PHLY for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today.
Corey Seidman and Anthony Gargano back here with you on the PHLY Phillies podcast. And we have Andrew Painter going tonight for the Phils, and the main reason is because the Phillies did not go out and get any starting pitching help at the trade deadline, nor did they get any starting pitching over the offseason when it looked like a hole, the depth beyond their top five. And I would put that under one of Dave Dombrowski's bad moves, which we're going to take a look at here, the things that he either has not been able to do running the Phillies front office or the decisions that we could take back if we had a chance. So obviously the Castellanos and Walker signings have hurt them badly. What sticks out to you? I mean, we've talked about maybe the lack of a plan at times. Like if there's something you could circle as this really hurt them, set them back, and has prevented them from moving forward, what would it be?
It's clearly the outfield, the right-handed bat, the rotating in different guys. Look, Walker, the signings like Walker are going to happen. You're going to fail, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're going to swing and miss. So I don't kill him off of that. But first of all, he bought Castellanos after a year in Cincinnati, when in that ballpark, it's the number one ballpark to hit home runs in. I thought those numbers were inflated. All right. You've compounded that every year with a mistake bringing in $10 million guys that just have flopped. You've not been able to address it. You're too lefty. Like, I like Crawford, and I like the kid, and I root for the kid, but they should have traded him for a right-handed bat.
Yeah.
Like, you're too lefty. Like, if you're going to keep Marsh, and look, he had a great first half, so great. But you needed a right hand. You need balance. He never had balance in the lineup. I think that's been his biggest mistake.
And what's especially hurt about like the Castellanos and Walker moves, though, is that they weren't even like passable in the final year. Like, and it's proven by the fact that Castellanos has not latched on with another team since being let go by the Padres. Walker hasn't latched on elsewhere. When Whit Merrifield left the Phillies, he was done after that season. Adolis Garcia, he might have to sign a minor league deal or like a really cheap, like $2 million contract next year. So it's not that just that these signings didn't work out. Max Kepler, the suspension.
Yeah.
It's not just that they didn't work out. It's that they've
been all-time flops.
Yeah, all-time flops and totally unplayable.
Yeah.
You know, so that has really hurt the Phils as well. By the way, what do you make of the Phillies making all those defensive changes but not moving Trey Turner from shortstop?
So it tells me, and everyone say, "Oh, the ego." There's a chance he may not feel comfortable playing center without a full workload at spring training.
Yeah,
I get that. Like playing center, you know, it's not like it's like little league travel ball, right? Like, you know, it's a big deal, which is why it still drives me nuts that there are all these revolving doors to get Alec Bohm in the lineup. Is crazy to me.
Do you think there's any chance that they keep Turner at shortstop beyond this season? I mean, my perspective on this has been if they're going to be honest with themselves moving forward, the guy has not been nearly consistent.
I think you got to move. I think you got to move to center. I think you got to reshape this whole team. You got to move him to center field. And by the way, he would look good in center field. He can still hit, and he still has, you know, range, and he's got speed. Like
still the fastest player in the majors in some ways.
That's what I mean. Like, so yeah, go play center.
And the other thing is, if you move Turner to center and he is passable there and he's able to play there every day, the conversation about him changes too because you're not focusing on his worst flaws anymore.
Exactly.
You don't have to look at him at shortstop.
I think he was a decent center fielder. I think he'd be a good center fielder. And you got Stott at shortstop. Well, I love his glove. And now I could look at third and second and go, all right, I can look to fill those areas. And if I want to have Bryce, I can still mess with Bryce in right or play him at first. So I have versatility.
So coming up here, the Phils have this homestand this week against a couple teams that sold. Nationals sold off. Blue Jays gave away some pieces.
I was looking at their schedule. Let me give you this.
Yeah, what sticks out to you?
Because here's what sticks out. They're going to win a ton of games, all right? There is no thought in my mind that they will not make the playoffs. So you got 2 in Washington, 3 against the Blue Jays, they're dead. 3 at St. Louis, they're dead. I mean, they have 2 hitters. And Walker hasn't done anything since the home run derby.
I think he's hurt now, Jordan Walker.
At Minnesota for the Field of Dreams game, they're dead. Miami's dead.
Then you got St. Louis again.
St. Louis again for 3. At Seattle, they got pitching and a tough place to hit. Angels stink.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of the month. Then you look at September, and you got the Braves a couple times, and you got Tampa, but Tampa is at the very end,
right?
And it may not even come into play.
There's an Astro series in between the 2 Braves series.
Yeah, and they're playing better, and at Arizona. So it gets. You have the Mets though. It gets tougher in September. But, man, August is cake.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this really.
August tastes cake.
You're facing, like, the rest of the month, the only team that bought was the Twins. And the Phillies should be able to beat up on the Twins.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm looking at, you're 61-53 right now with about 20 games left in this month.
I think you got to go 15-5, 14-6.
And we'd be feeling a whole lot differently about the Phillies if they do complete a month like that because they'd be getting hot going into September.
Right. Now, I'm not going to be full because once you play in the postseason, it's going to come down to pitching and timely hitting. But I think I agree with you. Like, let's change the mojo. Get hot. Let's go. So I'm all for go 14-6. I think that's fair.
What if the mojo stays the same in the front office after this year? Because there was a report in The Athletic last week that the Phillies are most likely going to extend Dave Dombrowski, and there's been talk about the succession plan after him, which you would imagine includes Preston Mattingly. Dave Dombrowski turned 70 last week, and he is a Hall of Fame executive, no doubt. He's won it all with several different teams, has not been able to get this team to the promised land, get them close. What do you make of that? And should the Phillies be looking to keep Dombrowski atop their front office structure another couple years?
I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, we just got done talking about the mistakes. You know, I don't know. He looks, again, there's no plan. I mean, I'm not saying the game passed him by, but I mean, I don't see it. I'd make a change.
Yeah. I wonder if some of the reason.
I mean, I get respectfully, you get a nice gold watch with a Phillies logo on it.
The comment you just made about like the game, whether it did or not, it didn't pass him by. I mean, I don't think that's just strictly about Dombrowski. That's also about a lot of these guys who have been in the game for decades, because if you look at the way teams trade now, nobody wants to lose a trade.
No.
Like, that's why there were so few bats of substance that moved at the deadline.
And when I say PHLY, I don't mean that he doesn't understand what he's looking at.
Right.
I mean that as you get older and you're just not as hungry, are you putting the time in?
Well, there's that. There's also like the adaptability, because like I just think that the people running organizations now just have a totally different philosophy than they used to have. Like in the 80s and 90s when Dombrowski's coming up, you can make a trade that helps me, helps you.
Right.
Well, now you have a lot of these younger, Wall Street type GMs who they're obsessed with winning the trade. I just wonder if they're speaking the same language anymore.
Maybe. My problem is less than that and more like, are you putting the time in to see exactly what you got?
Mm-hmm. Or
you got to get better scouts, and there's a lot of issues, man. Like, and I think they're wrong on development. I think, and evaluations. I think their evaluations are wrong. Like I see them with certain guys. Like I love player evaluation.
Yeah.
Right. Like I see it from a kid thing. I love it all throughout. I sometimes I wonder what they're looking at.
Well, hopefully they're looking at a really strong final 2 months out of Luis Arraez.
I see it.
He made an instant impact last night, and it did change the look of this offense. If it was only for one night, we're hoping it's not. We'll see what they have in store for the Nationals and Blue Jays the rest of this week. So for Anthony Gargano, I am Corey Seidman. Thanks a lot for checking us out today. And we're back tomorrow instead of Friday. We'll be back tomorrow at noon to break down Game 3 of this National Series leading into the finale. Thanks for checking us out. Catch you then.
We all silly like the mayor.